These villains share three things with one real government. A government whose leader has overreached militarily enough to end up with an arrest warrant from the International Criminal Court. Anime fans noticed before anyone was willing to say it out loud. Sponsor-friendly content creators love to say anime isn't political.
It is a very political
What?
anime.
He told me One Piece is very political.
Yes.
What aspect?
Oh my god, yes, I love this. Okay. This is gonna piss off everybody, but I'm so right about this, even though like
When I first saw these influencers downplaying the political nature of anime, part of me wanted to believe them. After all, these aren't the types of people that would misrepresent their views for personal profit.
Hell yeah! Oh shit!
And it isn't just these three anime villains. Many of the worst anime villains can't stop copying Israel. These villains are universally considered evil, both in and out of their universe. But what's so different about this man? What makes him more hated than other politicians responsible for much greater death tolls? Why does this specific type of villain trigger the same visceral hatred across wildly different cultures? I found 4 reasons this villain type makes your skin crawl no matter where you're watching from.
You're no longer human. You're a demon!
I've hated anime characters before, but the first time I saw the celestial dragons, I felt something different, not anger. A physical repulsion, more disgust than I'd ever felt for a fictional character. I know you want to see that punch land. I promise I'll come back to that punch, but I can't let it land until you understand the 3 reasons why you wanted it so badly. The celestial dragons are the most hated characters in One Piece, but the root of that hatred has very little to do with their power. Charlos is a coward and a glutton, but when he shoots a commoner, nobody moves, not because they're afraid of him personally, but because they fear the power of the system that crowns Charlos a god. And the system has 800 years of institutional momentum behind it. His authority comes from bloodline. He is a descendant of the 20 kings who founded the world government. You can't disprove lineage. You can't argue with descent.
Growing up in Sunday school, I was taught from the Bible, those who bless Israel will be blessed, and those who curse Israel will be cursed.
An unfalsifiable religious claim is exactly what you need when your authority can't survive scrutiny. This is divine right. Your mandate doesn't come from the people you rule. It comes from God, fate, bloodline, nature, something that precedes you and cannot be cross-examined. In 1978, psychologist Ellen Langer ran a study. The subjects had to convince people in line at a copy machine to let them cut the line to make 5 copies. No reason given, 60% compliance. A real reason, 94%. A meaningless reason, 93%. Any structure of justification triggers compliance. When she raised the stakes, 20 copies instead of 5, the fake reason stopped working. People push back when it costs them. For authority over nations, you need a reason no one is allowed to test.
The strength of a nation is through Almighty God. Great transformation requires great sacrifice.
Divine justification does that because it is unfalsifiable and because the punishment for questioning it is not a political consequence, but a metaphysical one. Egyptian pharaohs lasted 3,000 years. The Japanese imperial dynasty, 1500, unbroken. The Chinese mandate of heaven, 2100. The average secular constitution, 17 years. Rebel against a secular king, and it's treason, finite punishment, arguable in court. Rebel against God's chosen, and it's blasphemy, infinite punishment, extending past death. You can't disprove that God chose them. The surveillance feels total. The cost of defiance cannot be calculated because it outlasts your life.
No! 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 What did I do wrong? What should I have done?
And divine right doesn't even need God. Code Geass gives you the upgrade. Emperor Charles built the largest empire on Earth on one sentence.
平等ではない。
To Charles, inequality isn't the flaw, it's the engine. The strong are meant to rule the weak, and that isn't cruelty. It's nature finishing its work. The othering isn't a side effect of the empire, it's the Constitution. Chosen people, promised land, the same structure as Charlos's world noble bloodline and Charles's natural law, a claim you inherit rather than earn, backed by something prior to argument. King Bradley never even made a claim. He's a homunculus, manufactured by father, handed the title of Führer with a fabricated past. No prophecy, no mandate, just a man in a uniform who has always been there. Amestris never questioned it. Not because evidence was present, but because the syntax was right. That's the most efficient version. Authority that doesn't bother to justify itself, because there's no claim to push back against, and the ruled are primed for this. Psychologist Henri Tajfel showed that people discriminate in favor of their own group, even when groups are assigned by a coin flip, literally random. Bias emerges instantly, with no history, no grievance, no ideology. And the same instinct that sorts people into groups also ranks them. Decades of social dominance research show that those at the top of a hierarchy reliably come to see the people beneath them as a lesser kind. Othering and hierarchy aren't two separate instincts. They're two sides of the same coin. These villains don't create the instinct that makes people obey the divine right of kings. They simply plug into the psychological architecture that already exists in our DNA. But the mandate means nothing if no one hears it, and less than nothing if someone else's version of the story reaches them first. Madara Uchiha helped build the Hidden Leaf. He and Hashirama founded it together. Then they fell out, and the Senjus got to write the story. Hashirama, founder, hero. In the eyes of the Hidden Leaf village, Madara died a traitor, but still not forgotten. His name kept working. Decades later, the entire ninja world was dragged into its bloodiest war, and what mobilized 5 nations wasn't a man, it was his name, and the story that had been attached to it. A story that, even without Edo Tensei, would have continued to live forever.
Will justice prevail? Why, there's no other way! The winner will define the meaning of justice!
This is my favorite line in One Piece, but he got one thing wrong. History isn't guaranteed to go to the victor. It goes to whoever tells their version to the most people. Winning helps, of course, but victory isn't enough on its own. In 1977, researchers found that repeating a claim raised belief in it by 10 to 15%, even when subjects were told the claim was false.
Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein?
The brain does not audit frequency.
And are people still talking about this guy, this creep?
It mistakes familiarity for truth.
For 2,000 years, we were a stateless people. Now we have a country of our own, defended by all the brave men and women of the IDF.
Is it really true that Israel was a land without a people for a people without a land?
A slogan that built a project, while Palestinian textbooks tell a different story. But you need to remember who got to tell their story to the most people.
You like Burger King over McDonald's?
That's your worst take. That's your worst take.
Friend understood this better than almost any villain in anime. After his fake death and resurrection, he owned all media in Japan. Textbooks rewritten, history erased.
そんな国はもともとないではないか。
His version became the only version. He manufactured an apocalypse, sold himself as the man who saved everyone from it. Griffith ran the same play. The astral merging he caused unleashed monsters across the earth. Refugees flood into Falconia, the only safe haven, built by Griffith. From a crisis that he, himself, created. He kept his apostles feeding the monsters to maintain the threat. He manufactured the danger, controlled the only shelter from it, called himself the savior. A strategy many politicians have been accused of. But rewriting a textbook has a weakness. Some people can notice the rewrite. Makima doesn't argue, broadcast, or convince. She sits at the center of a web, and everyone inside it moves exactly how she needs them to, while believing the thought was their own. She doesn't control the message. She controls the people. When you control both the message and the people, your reign of power becomes unstoppable. Larry Ellison has given over $26 million to the friends of the IDF. He calls Netanyahu a close friend.
We love the country of Israel, and we'll do everything we can to support the country of Israel.
He leads the investor group, taking control of TikTok's American operation. His son David runs Paramount Skydance, which owns CBS, while Friend had to rewrite history by hand. The most powerful people in our world can simply buy your newsfeed. the power to curate and monitor what you see without you ever knowing what happens behind the scenes. Weimar Germany. The liberals upheld press freedom and refused to suppress the far-right narrative. Goebbels built the most sophisticated propaganda operation in history. The democracy voted itself out of existence. Iran, 1979. The Shah controlled every channel, radio, TV, print. No counter-narrative, only censorship. Khomeini, exiled and stateless, smuggled his voice in on over 100,000 cassette tapes, copied through 90,000 mosques. When he called strikes, they happened. The man with no army, no TV station, beat one of the largest militaries on earth. Chile, 1973. Allende upheld press freedom. His largest newspaper collaborated with the CIA to destroy him. He died in the palace. The man who respected the free press was killed by it. No matter whether you decide to play fair or not, victory always goes to whoever wins the propaganda war. A leader who refuses to fight for the narrative doesn't create a cleaner world. He creates a vacancy and guarantees a worse actor fills it. Tools are neutral mechanisms. The villain isn't condemned for using them. He's condemned for what he uses them to do. Defect. Break the one agreement that keeps everyone alive, taking for himself at everyone else's expense. Queen Otohime tried to change minds directly. Petitions, moral appeals, working inside the system.
I have a dream. My 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of
Assassinated. Fisher Tiger raided the holy city, freed every slave. Different strategies, same result.
I'm sorry!
The claim that fishmen are subhuman, 800 years old, backed by divine bloodline, outlasted both the moral appeal and the armed liberation. The story rebuilt the facts, and the system outlasted both of them. Without a path to change the message, all sacrifices are in vain. That is why, right after defeating Father and the homunculi, Mustang's team's first step wasn't to celebrate, but to control the narrative. But sometimes, narrative still isn't enough. Divine right converts the believers. Propaganda converts the masses. But the people with real leverage aren't moved by either.
Talking about saving this country. Before Singer replaces us with a bunch of transgender illegals that will do everything.
Save the boogeyman shit for the idiots watching VNN.
Homelander made the mistake of assuming propaganda works on everyone.
And the military's reaction?
Or OPEC. How you going to guarantee our oil reserves?
They're too clear-eyed for the story. So why do they follow the villain anyway?
The word democracy makes people feel safe. But the founders never trusted the masses because the truth is the masses are fucking stupid. You should be able to operate without any regulation or restriction whatsoever. People are a labor force that need a kind but firm hand. There are no nations. There's Apple, Exxon, and Berkshire Hathaway.
They buy in instantly, not divine right, not propaganda, incentives. Believers can be converted, out-narrated, reached by a better story. An ally bound by the right incentives cannot be propagandized away because they were never there for the story. Their compliance doesn't depend on what they believe. It depends on whether complying gets them the benefit that they want. That's a different kind of loyalty, and more often than not, it's the more durable one. The villain who masters this doesn't just rule believers. He builds an ecosystem of clear-eyed collaborators. The goal of an effective villain is to incentivize defection from shared morals and the social contract, while making it impossible to defect from their own rule.
And of course, there were tragedies and civilians were hurt. That's a terrible thing. But one thing we know for certain, that the Israeli army did everything they could to minimize civilian casualties.
In the 2023-24 U.S. election cycle, AIPAC spent roughly $127 million combined. 318 of its backed candidates won. 349 members of Congress took AIPAC money.
There are many types of monsters in this world. Monsters who will not show themselves and who cause trouble. Monsters who abduct children. Monsters who devour dreams. And monsters who always tell lies. Lying monsters are a real nuisance. They are much more cunning than other monsters.
I'm talking about the political entity of modern Israel. Yes, and that is You believe
Israel.
that's what God was talking about
Yes.
in Genesis. I've never taken money from the Israel lobby. Have you?
Taken money from the Israel.
From AIPAC.
So AIPAC raises a lot of money for me, but it's actually a misnomer because
The stated reason was scripture. The visible mechanism was the check. That's the true incentive behind the corruption. Self-interested politicians will always defect from society's best interest for their own personal benefit. The ones who don't are the ones we remember as heroes.
Kick cool.
老いとは本当に恐ろしいものですね。あなたも昔は本気でこの国を思う若く気高い軍人であったでしょうに。
If Defection pays this well, why does every villain here lose? Here's the answer. There's a concept from AI research called instrumental convergence. No matter what an agent's final goal is, the smartest sub-goal is almost always the same. Get more power and survive to use it. Whatever the villain actually wants, paradise, revenge, a god's empty throne, the rational path runs through the same place. Take power, remove threats, repeat, repeat, repeat. And that pursuit has no terminal state.
I sacrifice.
Destroying others to gain more power only leads you to the next people to destroy to get more power. And there is no amount of power that finally lets you stop. And the further you go down this game, the sooner you'll encounter someone better at it than you. So winning doesn't end the game. It enrolls you in it permanently. Canute, a prince gentle enough that people mistake him for a girl. Then he watches the world kill everyone he trusted, and he does the math. He concludes the only way to end suffering is to take absolute power and build paradise on earth. By force, over anyone in the way. Seize everything, control everything, and you can impose peace.
Person who got the Nobel Prize called me and said that I'm accepting this in honor of you because you really deserved it.
He wins. He becomes king. The prize for winning is that he can never stop. Every rival has to be removed. Every threat to paradise has to be crushed. He chose the winning strategy to a war with no last round. You win, and the winning becomes the cage. Israel's own strategists named this cage. In 2014, two scholars coined a doctrine for the conflict with Gaza and Lebanon, mowing the grass. The enemy cannot be decisively beaten, only periodically cut back. You strike, you buy quiet, the threat regrows. You strike again, the threat regrows. You strike again, no final round. No one believes this brings lasting peace. It's Canute's treadmill, printed in a journal of strategic studies. A decade later, one of the doctrine's own authors decided mowing wasn't enough and started arguing for a complete victory, for uprooting instead of cutting. Not an exit from the war, a bigger one. Winning a round doesn't end the game. It just raises what you're willing to burn for the next one.
でも違った。海の向こうにいるのは敵だ。なあ、向こうにいる敵全部殺せば俺たち自由になれるのか?
Father builds his perfect weapon and ends up screaming inside the gate. The celestial dragons rule a world where an entire ocean wants them dead, and the real version is no different in structure, only in whether the bill has come due yet.
It's been interesting.
You're not punished for defecting. You're allowed to win and keep winning in a fight that has no final round, trapped like Canute. And the only way to truly win is to finally understand the one truth that actually matters.
You don't have enemies. The truth is that nobody has them. Nobody in this entire world deserves to get hurt.
You've done it! That's the right answer!
Unfortunately, Netanyahu never read Vinland Saga, and that's exactly where this scene comes in. I told you we'd come back to this punch. The reason you wanted to see it land was much deeper than simple moral outrage. It was an evolutionarily driven repulsion, a desire to eradicate the defector, sacrificing everyone else for their short-term benefit, a subconscious understanding that as long as this man has power, you can never be free. Without a path to freedom, we stay trapped in a cycle. Like Denji and Eren, their cycle is a little bit different. These two are the other half of this argument, and they answer three important questions. Do we have free will? Can peace and freedom exist if villains are removed? Are Chainsaw Man and Attack on Titan the same story? I think I found a depressing but accurate answer to all three. If you want to know what it is, watch this next video.